So I'm in InDesign right now, and this is a wonderful program. Of all the three programs, Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign, InDesign gives you the most control over large blocks of text. So that's why I'm in InDesign today. And so we're going to kind of go over how do we manage such a large block of text. And as a designer, you're going to be given way more text than you really need to have. And your job is to make all this text readable, look pleasurable to look at, and well crafted and designed. Hyphenations are important when you have very narrow columns of text, but most of the time clients do not like to see hyphenations unless they're absolutely necessary. So one of the first things I do when I have a big block of text like that is I just uncheck the hyphenate box. When a large block of text stretches across the entire page, it can be hard to read. You do not want the reader to have to shift their eyes such long distances from left to right. It gets tiring. This is when the use of columns is very wise. Having the proper alignment is everything. It can make a big impact on how your block of text looks. Right now, these two columns are set to left alignment only, but if you play around with your text alignment options and select Justify All Lines, specifically Justify with last line aligned left, the text will be flush down the left and right sides. This can remove that jagged appearance to the right side that the left alignment option has. This can really polish your design and layout, so use this type of alignment often. And when you have more than one column, just make sure your columns at the bottom align evenly. Using headlines to break your big block of text up is a no-brainer. Balancing this block of text with larger text blocks not only adds to the variety of elements, but makes it visually interesting and more likely to be read. But more important is adding sublines or bylines to add additional divisions to the text blocks. This helps the brain break down the text box into much more manageable blocks of information, and therefore they're not overwhelmed. You will notice I am constantly adjusting the leading, which we learned about earlier, so I can have the right amount of spacing between headlines, sublines, and paragraph blocks. I always see headlines with too much leading in it, and it appears less cohesive and polished. Find additional ways to break up your text box visually. What I like to do is find important quotes or phrases in my block of copy and make them a bold weight or italics. Make sure that your paragraphs are never too long. One way to break them up is to do a pull quote. This adds another visual element without having to use a photo. Notice the generous even white space on either side of the document. This not only is important for publication requirements, but it also helps the overall page breathe and feel open. For the majority of my design career, I've had to manage large blocks of text given to me by clients. If I cannot talk them out of cutting copy, it's my job to make it look great anyway, and sometimes that's a tough job to do. So understanding these basic text layout principles is so essential to becoming a professional designer.